Show, and you know what? This up and coming star is having a blast with this new show. So I'm excited to welcome Kingston Southwick to the program. He's going to talk about Apple's TV's Presumed Innocent. Kingston, thanks for stopping by, and you got to be excited about the success of the show so far.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Yeah, of course I am, man. I mean, I'm so glad people are connecting to it and watching it and are excited to watch new episodes.
Exactly. And, first of all, let's talk about how you got this opportunity. Tell us about a little bit about going ahead and auditioning for this. How did you get the part?
Yeah. So this is pretty crazy. I've been told this does not happen, and now knowing after doing it, it really doesn't happen. I had loved being an actor, and I'd never done it fully professionally. And I asked my mom. My mom's a producer and a writer. I was like, I really want to, start doing this. She's like, okay, well, let's get you into an agency. So I did an audition to get into an agency, and then it was about like Christmas, and so it was the winter time, and no auditions were coming in. And then after Christmas, I had gotten an audition for a TV show called Curveball, and I was like, oh, that's awesome. So I auditioned for it and sent it in, and about 4 days later, I was at school, and my dad comes to school and picks me up from school, and we go into the car, and both my parents are in the car with my agent. I'm like, that's weird. Like, why are they all in the car with, on the phone with my agent? And she goes, congratulations, you booked Curveball. And what I later figured out that Curveball was then changed to Presumed Innocent. So I had sent in one self-tape audition, and 4 days later, I had booked it. And so it was so fast and so different than what a lot of auditioning processes go through. And I remember my agent telling me that I had booked Presumed Innocent, and that I was going to be working with Jake Gyllenhaal, and we're going to be working 6 months at Warner Bros. And stuff. And I was freaking out. I was crying, and I was like, oh my God, this is insane. And she goes, and your table read is in 2 hours. I'm like, what? And so I had to go home and take a cold shower because my eyes were all puffy from crying. And then I went to the table read, and I met everyone. I met Jake, and I met J.J. Abrams and David E. Kelly, and then I started shooting 2 weeks later. So it was
All right.
insane. I mean, it was awesome.
All right. So tell us about the show, and then we'll get to your character.
Got you. So Presumed Innocent is a legal drama thriller. It's a beautiful story, a very intense story. The story takes place in Chicago. My dad is a prosecutor. He has a family. I have a sister and a mom, and he has an affair at his work with another woman. Her name is Caroline Cornelius, and my dad then becomes absolutely obsessed with this woman and continues to call and text her and fall more deeply in love with her. And she's then, out of nowhere, brutally murdered, bashed in the head, hog tied up. And throughout the show, it's Jake proving that he's innocent because people start to see that he was obsessed with her and that he did have an affair with her, and it's him proving that he's innocent. And it's all the different types of stories that you hear from different characters and different sides of the story, from my side and my mom's side and the other prosecutor side. And there's a lot of twists and cliffhangers, and it's a very, very well written drama by David E. Kelly.
Absolutely. And let's talk about your character now. And
Yeah.
how do you prepare for this character?
So I play Jake Gyllenhaal's son. I play Kyle Savage, and it was such a awesome role. I loved working on this role. It was pretty intense. A lot of the scenes were with one-on-one with Jake or with Jake and Ruth, and being able to work with them was amazing because it was really easy to work off of them and to work with them and stuff. And so it gave me a lot of time to really think about my character and how my character feels in a scene and why he walks into a room, And so I remember I remember shooting and having David E. Kelly come to set and stuff and talk about the scene because he's a beautifully very well meticulous writer, and he let us kind of have fun with it and improv certain scenes and stuff. And so being able to do that helped me get into my character even more. And it was a very interesting experience, and I loved it, and I really want to do it again, and especially with the same writer and the same cast and stuff. So hopefully in season 2 we all come back because we have no idea what's going to happen in season 2. We might have a whole new cast and stuff like that. But yeah.
Yeah, and really what's cool is to get to work with this talent. This is going to be, as I've talked to other actors, once you get your big break, which I consider this a big break for you, it's going to be easier to go through auditions. You're going to have something on your resume that's going to give people, you're going to get at least a step ahead after doing a show like this. And as long as the show keeps rolling, right? Because if it goes season 2, season 3, you will be in the off season doing other work, but you'll be really wanted because of that. It was interesting. I was talking to somebody last week on my show, and he talked about once he booked this one show, everything changed. And so be ready for that and everything. What advice do you think you've gotten from like work
now?
Yeah, I'm sure it already is, but you can't tell us what else you have going, right?
No,
you can't see. But let's talk about specifically enough working with talent like David E. Kelly. I mean, he's a genius, and I'm sure that you've been blown away being on set with him.
Yeah, he's such a talented guy, and he's really smart. And what I like about him is that he's really smart, but his writing is very smart as well, and it's very realistic. And I know lots of the scenes that I had been a part of and even seen was so real and raw, and I loved that about David E. Kelly's writing. And working with him and working with his scripts it's so awesome because it's really smart and it's well put together. So the way that we had it was Jake's a prosecutor, and he is in the court of law a lot, and he's convicting lots of criminals and stuff. And what I love about David's writing is that he takes the courthouse kind of into the house as well. And so into the Savage house, which is the family house, we had a lot of elements very similar to a courthouse. We had, Jake asked certain questions as if he was a prosecutor, and the way that the rooms are set up and how the ceiling of the wall is kind of smaller than others, and just little things like that. It kind of gives you a feeling of if you are in a courthouse or the conversations, or if someone's, you're on the stand or something. And what I loved about David is that he used a lot of elements from the show into other parts of the show,
No, he definitely sounds like it. And it's one of those scary stories that happened. A bad mistake leads into something that really changes someone's life. And that's when we got to find out what happens throughout the process, because again, once you're the prime suspect, look out. That's the scariest part, because you might have done nothing, but guess what? Everyone looks for who that prime suspect is. So people can check it out on Apple TV. Appreciate it. Do you have a social media so people can start following you? Where can they go? What's best place?
Yeah, it's just at Kingston Rumi Southwick. Look me up on Instagram. That's it. That's the best way to keep in contact with my life and stuff, All
right, Kingston. I love your energy. Good luck to you, and good luck the rest of the season. Take care, man.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're listening and watching